Hello, 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 beautiful souls, my beloved souls. Actually, how are you? So sorry I wasn't around this weekend. I had a family emergency, so I had to go home to New York, um, which was big for me because that was the first time that I've been in New York for about a week and dealing with just my family since I've shifted to a full-time spirituality career. So that was very interesting for me to see all the different dynamics of my family and to just like dive into that energy and to, just be with my family again and to see how everyone has grown and changed and shifted. It was really intense. And got to just do some really dope energy work and healing work for God. So I was like so excited. Like I wasn't excited. The reason I went home was awful and awful and my heart is still broken, but I was so excited to be able to still push forward and show up for God in a way that I didn't know was possible, right? Because we had a young woman who was struggling, really struggling in a really dark place. And she had reached out to a light worker friend of mine who wasn't sure what to do. And so she contacted me, and I just started getting all these amazing downloads from heaven, just, with the guidance as to like where to lead her. And then I heard very clearly, like, go get my daughter. And I was like, what? What? So that was pretty intense for me, right? That was pretty intense for me to just like hear so clearly that like there's a soul that's really lost and you're getting the messages like go get it. And it was at a point where I had experienced a family tragedy. I had experienced an emergency while I was there with my baby father and my children, and I was also like unsteady on ground, right? Because I was all over the place. I had a lot of things going on. I had to broke up with my boyfriend. My cousin was in the hospital. My baby father got into a severe accident, and then like just all these things happened, right? All at once. And a lot of them happened within like 2 or 3 days. And before this time, I had been guided a lot to like make sure you have a meditation practice, make sure you're like staying grounded and secure and like, centered so that when life comes at you, you don't just get thrown, right? Because life comes at us all the time. Life comes at us all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. And it's a matter of are you going to let life rock you or are you going to rock your life out? You know what I mean? And so, yeah, there are things that go on and occur that are somewhat unexpected. I mean, death is expected, but we never know the time of death, right? So that's unexpected. But in the midst of all of that, are you going to lose it? Or are you going to be able to stay grounded and centered even while you're feeling the emotions and going through the motions of life, right? Like, even in my grief, even in my hurt, even in my shock and my dismay and my heartache, I still felt very clearly that I needed to show up for someone else in that moment, right? I had to take the focus off of me and myself and my pains and shift it to someone who needed it way more than I did at the moment, and not to dismiss what I was going through because what I was going through was a lot and it was very intense and it's still not something that's completely centered, right, in my being. Um, but I also had to like get out of myself and show up for another soul, right? Show up for someone else. And that was big. And that's a big conversation I keep having with people in life, right? Like we like to show up at the last minute or we like to show up kind of like when it's too late, right? You want to show up now that the person is gone, but show up for people in life. Show up for people in life, like while they're still here. We hear all the time, like, give me my flowers while I'm alive. That means something, right? It means something. And it takes no time to send someone a message like, hey, I love you, what's up, thinking about you, fuck you, hey, hi, whatever it is. Like, just if a person goes through your mind and there's a thought, reach out. You never know what's going on. You never know. You never know, like, maybe they just need that hug, or maybe they were thinking about you. Like, you never know. Maybe they're going through something, or maybe they're support that you need right now. Like, maybe they came to your mind because maybe they have something to say that's gonna inspire you or enliven you or guide you, or maybe like you never know, right? Like we don't know our own best interests. We think that we do, but we really don't know our own best interest. The universe is expansive and wide, and we're all on different parts of our spiritual path, right? And we're all on different levels of growing. But at the end of the day, we can still show up for one another, right? We can still understand that like we are a collective and we're in this bullshit together, and so we can work together to make it easier, or we can all just fight and be like crabs in a barrel and nobody be successful and nobody win, right? A couple crabs in a barrel, yeah, a couple of them are gonna get out, but for the most part they don't. For the most part, the big crowd doesn't get out. It's a fight, it's a struggle, and there's constant pulling down, pulling down, pulling down. And yeah, if you at the top make it over and they get out the barrel, but big picture wise, do you just want a few people to win and to be happy and to be joyous, or do you want everyone? Like, turn the barrel over and get all the freaking crabs out. Like, everybody win. Everybody get back to the water. Everybody find their flow and their freedom and their joy again. Like, that's available to us. Absolutely available to us at any given point. At any given point. And we get to choose, right? We get to choose whether or not that's what we want. And so I've chosen a life where I get to help people. I get to serve God. I get to have mad fun doing it, and I get to show up for myself and I get to show up for others. The more I've been showing up for myself and the more I've made me a priority and my joy and my happiness and my emotional, physical, and spiritual and mental bodies, my priority, the more life has been showing up for me and the more people in this life have been showing up for me in ways that I didn't even know were possible for some people, right? Because we meet people at their own vibrational level sometimes, unless they're a really high vibe person that's just not coming down to meet you there, but you kind of meet people where you're at. And so as you're elevating, right, you're gonna meet other people that you're gonna start to see other things. It's like, holy crap, like the fog is lifted. I'm out of the barrel. There's a whole ocean out here. Who knew? Who knew? There's a whole world. There's a whole world ready, like magically available to you if you're open to it, right? If that's what you want for your life. And so I opted out of the density and the tension and the low vibrational conversations and the judgments and the fears and the dis-ease and the illness and the genetic predispositions and all the other bullshit that they say that you have to have in this life, which is a lie. The only thing in this world that's real is love. God is love. Love is the only thing that's real. Anything outside of love is fear in some type of form, whether that fear has activated as an illness, a disease, an argument, anger, frustration, disappointment, grief, whatever it is. If it's not from love, it is a lie and it is fear in some type of form. And that's intense and I get it, right? I was in New York. New York has very, very dense energy, right? So even before I got there, I had to seal and shield myself, right? I knew I knew what I was walking into because that's where I'm from. But not only did I have to shield myself, but as soon as I went back into New York, I was in like New York mode, like straight Harlem, touch me, I'll punch you in your face, mad aggressive, felt myself tense, ready to fight. Like that was just like, it's just the energy when you're there. And not because I felt necessarily threatened, but because don't fuck with me, because don't think about threatening me because like I'll hurt you. Like that's like the energy you have in New York. Like you grow up in New York, you know, like you don't let people just violate you. You don't be like you're not like gonna get bullied. You're not gonna let that stuff happen. And so I went into New York and automatically I felt myself go back into that like tense, aggressive like energy where I just wanted to like curse you out, really. Like if you blink the wrong way, it's what it is, right? And so I had to like realize like, okay, well there's a reason that you had to step out of that environment in order to really heal, be isolated, secluded to get to the next level of your spirituality. Because it's hard to be open to spirit if you're always closed off because you're always feeling defensive and like a need to protect yourself, right? So there was a lot of that going on in the city. I don't know where I'm going with all of this. Um, but I think the point is the energies can be really intense and the energies can be really dense. And if you are not cognizant of this and you're not aware, you will pick up on other people's energies that can shift you, right? And so, are you the person that's changing the vibration of the room, or are you the person whose vibration is shifting with whoever and whatever is going on in the room, right? Can you get to a point where you're vibing so high that the things that are going on below you are not going to throw you off? Now, if you're a really high vibrational person, you have access to all the levels below you, right? But if you're at a low vibration, you only have access to where you're at and a little bit below you. So you want to give yourself the space. You want to give yourself the growth, the bandwidth to do and to see and to be an observer of all of these things, right? You can be an observer of life. You don't have to jump into it. You don't have to participate in the fuckery of the world, but you can be an observer of life. I love holding my hand like this when I connect from heaven to earth. You'll see me do that a lot during meditation. Sorry if it's freaking you out. Um, but you get to just tap in and you get to tap in and you get to decide, is this my world, my universe, my play, my ship that I'm running? Or am I the extra in someone else's life right now? And that's a big conversation, right? Like, are you an extra? Are you listening to your own intuition, to your own inner guidance, to your own soul? Or are you listening to the opinions of other people about what they think is best for you, your life, and your soul? It's wonderful to hear the opinions of others and to take feedback in from the world. But at the end of the day, you need to decide what's best for you because it's your life. It's your soul. No one knows where you're at on your soul path. I don't care how many psychics or tarot readers or whatever you said. Nobody can tell you the expansiveness of where you're at on your soul because no one is allowed that information because God doesn't even give all that information to the angels. So yeah, I can tell you energetically what's going on right now. I can even tell you energetically what might be happening in the next 10, 20 years, depending on where you're at energetically right now. But it doesn't mean that you can't shift things. It doesn't mean that the world is not going to shift, and it doesn't mean that the other players in this world are not going to shift. Because as much as we're controlling our roles in this life, there are still 7.5 billion other people doing the same shit, right? So which part of the world do you want to participate in? Like, you don't have to participate in all of the fuckery and all the stories and all of like the dramas, but you get to choose like, I'm gonna opt out of that one. I don't like that energy. I'm big. I will walk through a room in a minute and be like, and clear the energies around me. Like I will dismiss with sound and with hand movements, right? Because we are energetic beings. Clear your energy space. Don't let anyone interfere. It's your energy. Understand that you are the priority. You are the priority. You are the priority, not the opinions of other people, not the judgments of other people, not the fears that you hear. You are your priority. Trust in your own soul. You have to understand your own sovereignty. That's the biggest message I've been getting from God in the past, I don't know, 6, 7 months. It's just sovereignty, sovereignty. Like, remember your sovereignty. Remember who and whose you are. Remember who and whose you are. Remember who and whose you are. Big point. Big point. Big point right there. Huge. Huge for the collective. Remember your sovereignty. What does that mean to you? What feels good in your soul? Where's the truth at in your body? Are you feeling it in your body? Like, literally, when you hear some of these things, put it to the test. Your body knows the truth because your body is being guided by your soul. Like, put it to the test. You feel good in your body when you hear certain messages or something just not sitting right? Tell people all the time when I deal with them and the clients I work with, like, if you don't believe me, put it to the test. Like, ask God, ask the angels. Like, is this bitch crazy or is she telling me the truth? Ask for signs that say either confirm what she says or don't. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't believe me, that's cool. It's not going to hurt me. I'm here to deliver the messages that I get. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't, great. It is what it is. But I'm not going to stop doing my part because I know that that's my task. My task is to take the messages and get it out. And I pray to God that whoever needs it receives it. And that's why I keep showing up. And that's why I'm showing up today, even through my little drama. And that's why I'm going to keep showing up tomorrow. So I showed up when I was in freaking New York. And that's why I'm going to keep showing up. And I'm going to keep showing up and I'm going to keep showing up. Because you guys are worth it. Like, we're all worth it. The collective is worth it. Humanity's souls are worth it. It is worth it to me to have God say to me, go get my daughter back. That was a big deal. That was a big deal to have that powerful message. Like, and I was adamant, like, no, I need to go to the hospital. Like, my cousin's in the hospital. Like, I didn't come to New York for this. Like, I was just like, that was the last thing on my mind. And I heard very clearly, go get my daughter back. Okay. You know, like, okay, Lord, I'm on it. And I jumped up on it and I did what I had to do to make it happen. And it was incredible and it was powerful. And I'm so blessed and grateful that I was trusted with such a task. But we're all being trusted with tasks. We're all being trusted to step up in your own way. And so, no, you may not get the call to go get God's daughter back, but you may get a call to, like, I don't know, take a chance on yourself. Maybe do something that's better for your health. Maybe make a better decision in your relationships. Maybe make a better decision about, like, the places you go, the people you hang out with, the things that you're watching, the things that you're reading. Like, you have a choice every day. Every day, every day, every day. I'm not like a big TV person, although I do like movies every once in a while. So people talk to me about TV, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, because I'd rather like read a book than watch television. You know what I mean? But I'm also like cautious with things that I'm reading now, because now I'm realizing it's so much deeper than some of it's very entertaining. Like The Godfather is one of my favorite movies in the world. Definitely entertaining. I found it really insightful. So many jewels in there, you know. But I'm not at the point where I can like sit here and just watch a whole bunch of gangster movies anymore. Before, yeah, completely desensitized, didn't matter. Now, super sensitive, and I'm like, can't even watch my movies anymore without feeling some kind of way. You know, I want to be the back Harlem bitch sometimes, you know, and not care. I do want to not care sometimes. It doesn't always happen, but I do. Even after that incident, I was walking down the street in New York. I'm gonna get to the point, pull a car soon, but I was walking down the street, and something's like cross the street. All right, so I cross the street, don't know why, just walking. Then I see a man lying on the side of the street outside of a church. It's New York. People lie on the street all the time. Not a big deal. But something just didn't feel right, right? So I'm like, because I'm a New Yorker and we just walk past people, right? We can ignore them easily. So I walk, I see a little blood on his mouth. I don't know what to do. He's a man, I'm a female. I'm not going to be stopping, doing all that. All right. I see the church door is kind of open in the front. Cool. So I go to the church door, open the door. They're having like a class, whatever they're doing. So I'm like, listen, there's a guy outside of your church, a parishioner. I don't know if he's part of your church or not, but he needs help. So can you come help me? So the guy comes, barely wants to do anything. Like barely, barely, barely wants to even talk to him, standing so far away. And I'm looking at the man like, that's your idea of helping me with this guy? Like, we don't know what's wrong with him. Like, what are you so scared of? So I take some water, I'm like sprinkling it on the guy's face. He's not really responding. I see blood in his nose, blood on his mouth. I'm like, all right, let me call the ambulance at least, because this guy that I went into the church to get was a coward, right? And he like, you know, circles back. He's like, oh, I don't know. He looks like, I was like, I'm gonna call the ambulance. He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, thanks for your help. Enjoy your day at church. Like, what is the purpose of the building? You guys are all there, you know, praying, oh, children of God, blah, 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 but you can't even come outside and help somebody that's lying on the street next to your church. It's It disgusts me. I was so disgusted and just turned off, because I'm like, this is the reason. This is the reason why so many people are turned off of the churches. Stuff like that. Like literally, like where's your heart? Where was the heart of God in that moment? Because it was in me, but it passed the boy that was in the church. And I was so annoyed. I was so frustrated by that. So anyway, so I called an ambulance, and as the guy hits me on the phone with the ambulance, he's like, no, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. And I'm like, well, you don't look fine, because you're like bleeding out your nose and your mouth. And, you know, but again, depending on where people are in life, sometimes they don't want medical attention or police attention, right? So he's like, no, I'm just going through a hard time, whatever. And he like gets up and kind of staggers off. But at the end of the day, whether he was lying, whether he was telling the truth, it was just like, I'm at a point in my life where I can't just walk past things anymore and act like I don't see them. I can't do my blind New York shit and just shut it off anymore. And I don't know how I feel about that yet. I don't know how I feel about that yet. Still kind of, I don't know. Anyway, collective. I was going to do a divine masculine reading, but I'm going to do a reading for the collective. Let's work our light, because it's intense. And this message has been intense. And I love y'all. Let's pull some work your light cards and see what we got going on. Mercury retrograde this week. Make sure you are reviewing things with your due diligence. Take a fine-tooth comb over everything. Review, reevaluate. For some of you, we'll be reconciling. For some of you, we'll just be letting go and releasing once and for all. Very good. All right, thank you, angels and guides, for being here. Let's see what we got coming out for the collective. Hey, that 2 cards through. Bottom of the deck. Can't make this shit up. The crumbling. What are you holding on to? What did I just say? Mercury's in retrograde. It's about releasing, right? release, let it go. So this is the point where you're getting your tower moments where it's like, let go of the old ways, right? Some of us are so, some of us are so stuck in a dysfunction that we don't know it's dysfunction, right? Some people are so encased in fear, they don't even see fear for what it is. And so right now, the entire collective is being shaken up, right? And given a chance. Like, look at your life, figure it out. Because the rug is getting pulled from under your feet for a reason. It's time to wake the fuck up. Ow. Oh my gosh. And then, I'm sorry. This is so emotional for me. Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? This is Mother Mary energy, right? The mother of Jesus, right? Woman who gave birth to the divine. So this is such a message of not only nurturing yourself, but also being courageous and knowing that you're blessed and knowing that you can give birth to really blessed and wonderful things. And so if there's a part of you that you're holding on to in the past that's not working right for you, it's time for you to let that go and know that you're going to be supported and nurtured through the process. I love that. And play. Have fun, celebrate, and don't be so serious. Guys, it's life. You're not getting out alive. Let it go. Have some motherfucking fun. Literally, have fun. You were not created to suffer. You were not created to be broke and to be in debt and to worry and to be fearful. Like, you were created for joy. You were created to continue on life. You were created to expand. Be fruitful, be multiplied, be joyous. Like, that is why we're here. So, what do you got to do this week to give yourself a little bit more self love, a little self care, a little nurturing? What can you do for you that's going to be really important for you? So, when my girl's like, follow, follow those inclinations you're getting. You know, like maybe the inclination is, I want a Starbucks coffee. So, you go get a Starbucks coffee, right? And it's just like, all right, well, let me go get a coffee. All right, well, now I'm in the mood for, I don't know, I kind of want chicken. You end up at like their favorite chicken spot. Like, you never know. Once you start following the little guidance, the little step by step things that are happening in life, then you'll realize, oh, snap, you can start stepping into the big things. Because maybe I got the desire to go to Starbucks at that time because I was going to run into a friend and maybe that friend was going to introduce me to like my twin flame. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. I keep telling you guys, we don't know the expansiveness of it all. So when you can start trusting life, start playing life, start loving on yourself and just enjoying life and letting go of the crap in the past that is no longer serving you, watch life start showing up for you. Big time. Big, 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 big time. So this week, your guidance is to love and nurture yourself, have some fun, and release the motherfucking bullshit that is no longer. All right, my babies. Here's your woke Wednesday message. I'm gonna leave it there because I gave you a whole story about my trip to New York, and I'll see you next week. I love you guys. You're amazing. I love you. God loves you. Angels surround you. Have the most incredible week ever. Be powerful. Remember your sovereignty. Just go have fun. Go have fun. Go have fun. Go have fun. I plan on it. Later.